Don't forget to subscribe, smash that like button, and drop a comment below. Your support keeps this channel going strong and lets us bring you all the drama, insights, and comedy, just enough, from the world of Premier League football. Let's dive in. Package Moneybag Manchester City have done it again. Just when we thought there was no room left in Pep Guardiola's midfield matrix for another tactical chess piece, another Rodri has arrived. But no, this isn't a glitch in the matrix or a sequel to the deep-lying metronome we all know. This time it's Rodrigo Moreno, not Rodri Hernandez. And yes, it's official. Rodrigo has been confirmed as a new Manchester City player. Bullseye confused? You're not alone. City fans, Premier League neutrals, and even some of the club's own kit managers were probably double-checking the squad list like, wait, don't we already have a Rodri? Yes, but now we've got two. One for breaking up play, one for breaking nets. If Pep had his way, the squad would just be named Rodri 1, Rodri 2, Joao 1, Joao 2, and De Bruyne always just wanted him. Football, let's get the facts straight. Rodrigo Moreno is no stranger to elite football. From Benfica to Valencia, from Leeds United to the Spanish national team, Rodrigo has danced with defenders all over Europe. He has seen it all: Champions League nights, relegation scraps, Marcelo Bielsa fitness drills, and somehow lived to tell the tale with both legs still functioning. Large blue circle, and now he joins a Manchester City side that doesn't exactly need him, but perhaps wants him. That's the Pep way. Why have one toolbox when you can build an entire home depot? Why settle for a luxury car when you can have a Formula One garage in your squad rotation? For Guardiola, this might not just be about depth, it's about options. Rodrigo brings something that's rare in modern forwards: adaptability. He can play as a striker, second striker, wide forward, or drop into midfield. He can press, create, and, most importantly, think. He fits into the Pep system like a new cable in an already tangled setup. Confusing from the outside, but somehow essential from within. Speech balloon, the internet went wild, as usual. Why sign Rodrigo when you've got Holland? Was the most asked question. The answer? Because football is more than just a starting 11. And because if you give Pep the chance to complicate things, he will take it. Next thing you know, Rodrigo is playing left centre-back, inverted fullback, false nine, hybrid pivot trequartista. That's just Tuesday at the Etihad. Stadium hash for Leeds United fans. It's heartbreak. Rodrigo was one of the few shining lights in a disastrous season that saw the club drop to the Championship. Now, their top scorer joins a team that's allergic to losing. From Ellen Road's chaos to Guardiola's chessboard, that's what we call an upgrade. Microphone hash, and what a quiet transfer it was. No plane tracking, no TikTok teasers, no Mbappe-style novella. Just an announcement, a handshake, and boom, Rodrigo in sky blue. This isn't Real Madrid. This is City, where transfer drama lasts shorter than a VAR check on a Holland goal. Chart with downward trend as for the money, a rumored 14 to 16 million pounds fee. In Premier League terms, that's so for change. For that price, City haven't just signed a player, they bought peace of mind. Depth, flexibility, and experience, all in one Spanish package. Like a tactical paella, if you will. Bar chart, so how does Rodrigo fit in? Well, Holland will obviously remain the tip of the spear, but in a squad that competes on every front: Premier League, Champions League, FA Cup, League Cup, UEFA Super Cup, FIFA Club World Cup, and maybe even the Six Nations at this rate. Rotation is king. Rodrigo can be the guy who steps in when Holland needs rest, when Alvarez drops deep, or when Pep decides to reinvent the wheel again. Robot face, and let's be real, Rodrigo is smart. Not just football IQ smart, but actual I speak like 4 languages and don't fall for Twitter rumor smart. Guardiola loves players who understand the game deeply, who can absorb complex tactical instruction without short-circuiting. Rodrigo will thrive in a system that values brains as much as brawn. Spanish also. Let's not overlook the Spanish factor. Rodrigo joins a dressing room that already feels like a tapas bar on match day. With Rodri, Sergio Gomez, Pep himself, and several Spanish-speaking stars around, integration will be smooth. No cultural shock, no winter meltdown, just instant chemistry. But of course, challenges await. This is Manchester City, where competition is fiercer than a VAR decision in the 90th minute. Rodrigo will have to earn his minutes, and that's no easy task in a squad bursting with world-class talent. Every touch, every movement, every press will be under the microscope. Then again, maybe that's the point. Maybe this is one of those classic Guardiola moves. The transfer that makes no headlines now, but wins you a trophy in May. Imagine Rodrigo popping up in a Champions League semi-final, ghosting into the back post while the defense focuses on De Bruyne and Holland. Stranger things have happened. Remember when Zinchenko became a left-back? Exactly. Performing arts, and don't forget the comedy. We now have Rodri and Rodrigo in the same squad. Commentary teams are already sweating. Rodri passes to Rodrigo. Rodrigo back to Rodri. Rodri through ball to Rodri. Pep might have to assign numbers just for clarity, or give them nicknames like Rodri Prime and Rodri Deluxe. Clapperboard, so what does this mean for the Premier League? Honestly, it's terrifying. City weren't exactly short of firepower. They didn't need Rodrigo, but they signed him anyway. Because they could. Because they think ahead. Because Guardiola is building something that isn't just a team, it's a tactical organism. Megaphone, now we turn to you. What do you think? Is Rodrigo a hidden gem or a backup option? Is this the start of something surprising or just a footnote in the City saga? Drop your thoughts in the comment below. We read them all, even the wild ones. And seriously, if you haven't already, subscribe, like, and hit that notification bell. Because this summer is just getting started, and if Rodrigo to City taught us anything, it's that the transfer market is full of surprises. Whether you're a City fan, a neutral, or just here for the drama, thank you for watching, and stay tuned. Football never sleeps, and neither do Guardiola's plans. Because let's be honest, this transfer is weirdly fascinating the more you look at it. Rodrigo isn't some fresh-faced prodigy bursting out of La Masia, nor is he an overpriced superstar dragged in by a desperate club trying to please sponsors. He's in that curious category of player who has been around, who has seen some things, and who now arrives at Manchester City as, let's call it what it is, an experienced chess piece in Guardiola's human-sized tactics board. And that's exactly where Pep thrives. He loves these types. Not the shiny Instagram stars, but the ones with footballing IQ, positional flexibility, and just enough anonymity to fly under the radar while detonating defenses. Rodrigo's versatility isn't just a bonus. It might be the reason he was brought in. He's the kind of player who can play 10 minutes up top, 25 out wide, 60 as a shadow striker, or 90 if everyone else is on a stretcher. He's a Swiss Army knife with a Spanish passport. Pushpin now. Look close at City's recent transfer behavior, and you'll spot a trend. They've stopped aiming exclusively for headline grabbers. Gone are the days of breaking the bank for a name just to send a message. These days, they sign systems players. Quiet professionals who blend into the rhythm of the squad. Think Matteo Kovac. Think Manuel Akanji. Think Nathan Ake. Rodrigo fits that mold. No drama, just football. Hammer and wrench hash, and while we're on the subject of systems, dear Lord, Guardiola's system. It's not even a system anymore. It's a multi-layered algorithm that evolves mid-match like a footballing transformer. Last year, he turned Stones into a pivoting centre-mid, Rico Lewis into a tactical paradox, and Holland into a 50-goal contradiction. So what will he do with Rodrigo? We can already hear the tactical boardroom conversations. Okay, Rodri, you're the 6. Rodrigo, you're the false 9 but sometimes act like an 8.5. When we're pressing, you rotate with Bernardo. When in possession, you morph into an inside forward/base invader. Oh, and mark the opposition keeper on corners. Got it. Rodrigo, sigh. Some behind cloud now. Some fans are wondering if the signing was made in anticipation of deeper issues. Could it be that Guardiola is planning for a long season without one of his key attackers? There's been some murmuring about Julian Alvarez possibly wanting more minutes, or maybe even moving on in the near future. Could Rodrigo be the break in case of transfer emergency solution? Oh, and hear me out, maybe it's just Pep being Pep. He saw something in Rodrigo's movement, his link-up play, his ability to drag defenders out of position, and said, yep, that's mine now. Because make no mistake, Rodrigo is technically superb. His off-the-ball work is criminally underrated. The way he finds little pockets, the timing of his runs, the simplicity of his touches, it's all textbook Guardiola material. Books, in fact. Let's not forget Rodrigo was, at one point, one of the most hyped Spanish forwards of his generation. Before the chaos of Leeds and the injuries that derailed parts of his career, he was part of a Valencia team that regularly gave the big boys nightmares. He scored goals against Barcelona. He shined in the Copa del Rey. He earned call-ups to Spain's national team. And at one point, there were whispers of Real Madrid sniffing around. So yes, this isn't just some striker rescued from relegation. It's a reclamation project. Pep loves those. He doesn't just want to sign the best players. He wants to elevate them, rebuild them, optimize them, like he did with Fabian Delph, or Zinchenko, or Grealish, who now plays like he's permanently on a slow-mo highlight reel. Cloud with tornado hash, and then there's the chaos factor. Rodrigo brings with him an edge, a willingness to take on defenders, shoot from distance, make risky runs. While City is often praised for their meticulous build-up and robotic precision, every now and then, they need someone to break the mold. Rodrigo can do that. He doesn't follow the script, and that's exactly why Pep might trust him to rewrite it when needed. Busts in silhouette and personality-wise, Rodrigo is a type of player who blends in, doesn't cause waves, but still has presence. He is not a dressing room joker, nor is he the silent monk type. He's professional, smart, composed, which is ideal in a City squad that already has more egos than a Sunday League WhatsApp group. Rodrigo doesn't need the spotlight. He just needs a ball, a bit of space, and a game that matters. Electric light bulb. So what could his best role be? Super sub? Domestic cup starter? Tactical disruptor in tough away fixtures? Honestly, all of the above. That's the beauty of this move. It doesn't scream superstar, but it quietly whispers essential. In a squad like City's, sometimes your most important players aren't the ones starting every week. They're the ones who are ready every week. Repeat button, and let's not overlook Pep's love for rotation. He once benched Aguero for tactical reasons. Aguero. If Pep can do that, he can absolutely find a place for Rodrigo, especially when you consider the mental and physical load of a 60-plus game season. Holland can't do it all, and Alvarez might need to drop deeper. Rodrigo becomes your insurance policy, your plug-and-play attacker, your last-minute tactical twist. Loudspeaker still, it's not just about function. It's about timing, because his signing, as understated as it is, might just prove to be perfectly timed. Guardiola isn't thinking about August. He's thinking about March, April, that rainy night in the Champions League quarterfinal, that FA Cup replay, that final day fixture where 1 point means everything. Rodrigo isn't here for now. He's here for then. And if you're reading this wondering whether Rodrigo will score 20-plus goals, don't. That's not what this is about. This isn't about numbers. It's about moments. And if there's one thing Rodrigo knows how to do, it's show up when it matters most. So go ahead, sleep on this transfer if you want. But don't be surprised if you wake up one night in May. City have just lifted another trophy, and it's Rodrigo with a match winner. More to come. Because that's the thing about players like Rodrigo. They operate in the shadows of the spotlight. While the headlines obsess over Holland's hat-tricks, De Bruyne's no-look passes, or Foden's gravity-defying dribbles, Rodrigo is the kind of player who quietly shifts the narrative in City's favor. Not with fireworks, but with a kind of calm, clinical intervention that only becomes legendary in hindsight. Bullseye, think about it. One tight away match at Turf Moor. Rain horizontal. City aren't clicking. Holland is being double-marked by two defenders named Ashley and Something-son. It's the 72nd minute. Guardiola throws on Rodrigo. The ball drops on the edge of the box. Rodrigo, first-time strike. Bottom corner. Arms out, no celebration. Just that classic I've done this before face. 3 points. Guardiola adjusts the scarf and stays into the void. Mission complete. And it's not just about the goals. Rodrigo's ability to link play in congested areas could be vital for City in those low-block scenarios where 10 men park themselves behind the ball like they're guarding the Mona Lisa. His quick feet and decision-making in tight spaces add a different flavor to City's attacks, something less robotic and more instinctive. Straight ruler, you could almost describe him as the anti-City player. Where most of the squad plays like finely tuned instruments in a symphony orchestra, Rodrigo brings a jazz. He improvises. He takes chances others wouldn't. And sometimes that's exactly what Pep needs. Not more metronomes, just a bit of chaos at the right moment. Let's not forget, in games where City face deep blocks, often the frustration builds. Fans groan. The ball circulates endlessly between centre-backs. Holland cuts a lonely figure between defenders. De Bruyne starts trying Hollywood passes. It's in those moments, when the rhythm stalls, that you need a player like Rodrigo. Someone who says, you know what? I'm going to shoot. I'm going to try something. And whether it works or not, it breaks the monotony. It injects unpredictability. Guardiola doesn't like to admit it publicly, but he knows that football isn't a perfectly written book. It's a messy, unpredictable poem. And sometimes, even the most beautiful tactical systems need a scribble in the margin to create magic. Rodrigo is that scribble. Not the protagonist, not the villain, but the wild card who changes everything. And then there's the unspoken tactical layer. With Rodrigo in the squad, Pep now has more leverage to shift City's attacking shape mid-match without using all his substitutions. Picture this. You start with a 3-2-4-1 with Rodrigo on the bench. At halftime, things aren't working. Rodrigo comes on. Alvarez drops into midfield. Foden pulls wide, and suddenly you're playing something that looks like a 3-1-5-1 with no traditional striker but 5 players arriving late into the box. Confused? So will the opposition. That's the idea. Bullseye's about layers. Guardiola's football is built on them. Layers of positioning, layers of possession, layers of player responsibility. Rodrigo is another layer, but a deceptively simple one. He makes late runs. He finishes well. He presses smartly. He doesn't need 15 touches to make an impact. Just one, in the right place, at the right time. And here's another detail. Rodrigo is one of those rare forwards who love playing off chaos. Many strikers need a perfect through ball or precise cross to function. Rodrigo? He thrives when the ball ricochets awkwardly in the box, when the pass is imperfect, when defenders are scrambling. He reads those situations instinctively, and that makes him lethal in second-ball scenarios, which is something City can use more of, especially when they face more physical, rugged teams. Repeat button and let's talk rotation again. Because even if you think Rodrigo isn't here to be a starter, he is here to absorb minutes, and that matters. City played 61 competitive matches last season. That's nearly 2 full league campaigns in one. And with a FIFA Club World Cup added this season, they might be pushing 65-plus matches if things go well. No squad can survive that without depth. Real, battle-hardened depth. Not just youth players on the bench. Rodrigo isn't a gamble. He's not a prospect. He's ready-made insurance with Champions League and La Liga experience. He can slot in on a cold Wednesday night or final in Istanbul. He won't blink. Speaking head in Silhouette #+, his leadership shouldn't be underestimated. Rodrigo's been vice-captain before. He's played in pressure scenarios, title races, relegation scraps, European clashes. He knows how to talk to teammates, when to calm things down, and when to raise the tempo. Even if he doesn't wear the armband, those voices in the dressing room are crucial across a season where every fixture can become a psychological minefield. And let's be honest, for a club like Manchester City, winning is the expectation. But maintaining that level, that's the hard part. That's where players like Rodrigo come in. Not to raise the ceiling. The ceiling's already in outer space, but to lift the floor. So when the stars are tired, or injured, or simply not at their best, you got players who can keep the machine ticking. So while the fan base debates whether Rodrigo will be the next Mahrez or just another Nolito, the coaching staff already knows what they are doing. He wasn't brought in to be flashy. He was brought in to be useful. And in a team that plays 90 minutes of controlled intensity every 3 days, that kind of usefulness can be worth its weight in gold. And make no mistake, even if Rodrigo only ends up with 5 goals, 2 assists, and 1 match-winning press that leads to a 94th-minute own goal in a cup final, that could be the difference between a domestic treble and a season that ends 1 point short. Because in the end, that's what City's greatness is built on, not just the Hollands, the De Bruynes, or the Guardiolas in press conferences with one eyebrow raised like he's about to drop a Shakespeare quote, but the details. The quiet contributors. The moments that don't make the highlight reel, but tip the scale. And Rodrigo, for all his journeyman pass and low-key profile, is a player designed for those moments. Think about the way Guardiola structures a season. It's not linear. It's not play your best 11 every week and hope. It's like planning a 10-month space mission. Squad rotation isn't just a necessity, it's a philosophy. Minutes are managed like stock portfolios. Fatigue, rhythm, morale, all constantly monitored and recalibrated. And in that system, players like Rodrigo don't just help, they are vital. Because what happens when Holland tweaks a hamstring? Or when Alvarez hits a dip in form? What if Foden needs rest before Champions League semi-final? You don't just replace those players, you reconfigure your entire approach. And Rodrigo is one of those rare attackers who lets you do that without losing structure. He won't play like Holland, but he'll give you a platform to still play around a central figure. He'll occupy defenders, create space, press like a madman if needed, or disappear between lines to draw fouls and waste time. That's not flash, that's craft. Electric light bulb, and there's also the psychological value. A squad is a living organism, not just names on a team sheet. Everyone talks about the importance of dressing room harmony, but few realize how difficult that is to maintain in a team that wins constantly. Hunger becomes complacency. Bench players become resentful. Superstars start looking at Paris or Madrid. This is where Rodrigo fits the Guardiola blueprint perfectly. He's hungry, but not entitled. He has experience, but is not overbearing. He's been a starter at struggling clubs and knows how to graft, but has also had the taste of top-level football and knows what a well-run machine feels like. He'll train hard, stay sharp, and when he plays, he'll give a damn, and that's the kind of energy that keeps everyone else honest. And tactically, let's not ignore the layers within the layers. Rodrigo is particularly effective when City aren't dominating possession, those rare games against the likes of Liverpool or Real Madrid, where things are chaotic and the ball turns over more frequently. In those situations, Pep often tweaks the setup to be more direct, more vertical. Rodrigo excels in transition play, those quick breaks where one smart run behind the line can catch a high backline off guard. He's not Holland fast, but he's smart. He angles his runs well, times them precisely, and perhaps most importantly, he finishes with composure. You can give Rodrigo one chance in a high-pressure game, and he won't snatch at it. He'll take a breath, pick his corner, and bury it. Not many players outside the superstar bracket can do that consistently. Performing arts, and then there's the illusion he brings. Pep is a master of misdirection. He wants opponents second-guessing everything. Wait, is Rodrigo playing as a striker, or is he pulling wide into a half space? Why is De Bruyne underlapping Rodrigo instead of overlapping Walker? Who do I mark? The big Norwegian or the Spanish guy hovering near the penalty spot? Rodrigo's presence creates questions, tactical doubt, and in a Guardiola setup, creating confusion in the opponent's back line is almost as valuable as creating chances. Bullseye even set pieces, one of City's underrated weapons. Get a boost. Rodrigo is excellent at peeling off defenders late in set-piece routines, attacking the second ball, or dragging a marker away so someone like Ruben Diaz or Akanji gets a free header. These aren't glamorous contributions, but they accumulate over a long season. That's how titles are won. And perhaps most intriguingly, Rodrigo has a point to prove. This is a guy who's been labeled as injury-prone, inconsistent, overhyped, and even surplus to requirements at different points in his career. Now he's landed in the most competitive squad in world football. There are no excuses left. No safety net. He is not expected to be the star, but he has the platform to become something more. And that, right there, is when players thrive. Not under pressure, but with purpose. Open book, because every elite team has that one player who, when the documentary is made, gets a full episode dedicated to him. The quiet assassin. The unsung hero. The one who made the difference in that one match that changed everything. Rodrigo might not sell shirts like Grealish, or make kids scream like Holland. But come that tight Champions League quarterfinal, don't be shocked if it's his name on the score sheet. And when that happens, when Rodrigo does a thing that no one expected him to do, scoring, assisting, or pressing some fullback into a back pass that leads to a goal, it'll make perfect sense in retrospect. Because that's how Pep works. He's always thinking 10 moves ahead. always anticipating the injury, the off day, the tactical shift. And he doesn't just want players. He wants solutions. Rodrigo is one of them. Quiet, clever, adaptable, and ready. Bell, and that's where we'll leave it today. Blues. Rodrigo's arrival at Manchester City might not have broken the internet, but make no mistake, this could be one of those moves we look back on as crucial. Whether he becomes a secret weapon, a tactical disruptor, or simply the guy who scores that goal when it matters most. Pep knows exactly what he's doing. Speech balloon, but what do you think? Will Rodrigo shine under Guardiola? Is this a smart depth move or masterclass in hidden genius? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We want to hear every bold prediction, every tactical theory, and yes, even your hot takes. Medium light skin tone thumbs up sign if you enjoyed this deep dive. Smash that like button. It really helps more fans like you find the channel. Mobile phone with right arrow, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a single update, transfer breakdown, or tactical analysis, especially as the season gets wild. Thank you for watching. Premier League chaos is just getting started, and you're not going to want to miss a thing. See you in the next one.